14 perks of being single, which people in relationships are jealous of. It's been 5 years since I got a good night's sleep. Why? Not because I have children or insomnia. I'm in a long-term relationship with a man who snores like a bear in hibernation. When my son goes out of town, I spend 99% of my time in bed, soaking up the peaceful bliss and spreading out like a starfish. This is just one of the reasons people like me look at singletons and sigh out of envy. 1. Freedom. Folks in a relationship, don't come for me with pitchforks. I know you empowered individuals have freedom in your relationships. But being single gives a completely different type of freedom. You don't need to check in with your so before you plan a weekend away. You don't need to see what they fancy for dinner before cooking. In fact, you can literally do whatever you want without having to seek another person's opinion. So yes, we are jealous of this, even if we don't want to admit it. Not to mention, this freedom really comes in handy, especially when it comes to meeting someone halfway. 2. No need to compromise. That's right, another perk of being single is not having to compromise on a daily basis. Think about it this way. You love Mexican food, your partner loves Chinese. Inevitably, you'll have to eat Chinese food at least half of the time. Just to be fair, you know? But when you're single, you can eat all the Mexican food you want. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. On top of that, no one will be there giving you judgmental looks or rolling their eyes as you order the same thing for the 1000th time off the menu. 3. You can enjoy your independence. I love my so, but sometimes I feel like I miss out on opportunities to learn and be independent. For example, the other day I was trying to put shelves up. I'll admit, I'm new to using a drill, but I had my trusted YouTube video up and I was ready to get my DIY on. Until Mr. Muscles came in, promptly took over the drilling, and left me to do the easy parts. Single people, this is a perk you shouldn't take for granted. Your independence allows you to learn life skills, make your own decisions, and become more self-reliant. And folks who are in relationships certainly do feel jealous of this independence. It's crazy how lazy and reliant you become when someone else does stuff for you. 4. Your social life is your own. But having independence isn't the only benefit of being single. You're also able to structure your social life however you want. No need to schedule your days to suit a partner. No need to check in with them before committing to plans with friends. You can be out as much as you like without a text asking when you'll be home or if you'll pick up Chinese on the way back. I'll admit, I do sometimes feel envious of my single friends. They have fantastic social lives, whereas most people I know in relationships tend to prioritize Netflix and chill rather than going out and having fun. 5. No relationship drama. I thought about putting this at the top of the list of perks of being single, but to be fair, not every relationship is dramatic. But that being said, there is always the possibility of drama, especially when two people are so intimately involved. You see, when you're single, there's no arguing because you're both hungry and tired, wondering why your so is being shady with their phone, bickering over who has to do the chores, passive-aggressive comments over unfulfilled expectations. Not to mention the big arguments that inevitably come along when boundaries are broken or one person feels disrespected. So, single reader, you may have drama in your life, but at least it's not with someone you have to share a bed with after a fallout. 6. You get to focus on your own needs. When I was single, I pretty much ate when I was hungry, traveled when I needed a break, read a book when I was tired, went out with friends when I needed company. 7. Flirting guilt-free. Now, this may be a controversial one, but let's face it, we're all guilty of flirting from time to time, even those in the most loving relationships. But here's the perk of being single. You guys get to do it guilt-free. I accidentally on purpose smiled at a cute police officer the other day and felt terrible when he smiled back because, well, just because. The truth is, single people can flirt with anyone, anytime, without having to feel weird about it. And let's be honest, flirting is fun. Even more so when it's not gonna lead to an argument with your so. Is it any wonder we're jealous of you guys? Just because we're committed to someone doesn't mean we become blind to the rest of the world. 8. Traveling is easier. Now, I mentioned traveling earlier. It's just so much easier when you only have your own schedule to contend with. Two people trying to get the same time off from work, both with different ideas of a good holiday, is not easy to organize. Not to mention, one person in the couple inevitably gets stressed out by flying, so there's that too. Put simply, one of the perks of being single is being able to pack up your bags, book a flight and just go, without having to think of how your travels will affect anyone else. 9. More time to spend with family, friends. But when you're not busy jet-setting around the world, another benefit of riding solo is being able to spend time with your loved ones. Now, that doesn't mean folks in a relationship instantly abandon their friends and family the moment they commit, but logistically, it gets harder. You might want to spend the weekend with your family, but your so has a big reunion and wants you to come along. You fancy a quiet evening in with your friends, but your partner has already reserved the TV for their night in playing Fortnite. When you're single, nothing is holding you back from spending time with your nearest and dearest. Unless they're in relationships, of course. 10. Not being answerable to anyone. Forgot to take the trash out? Splurged on something you shouldn't have? Guess what? There are no consequences when you're single. No one is asking why you spent so much or moaning at you for forgetting your week to do the trash. The bottom line is, when you're a single adult, you don't really have to answer to anyone. If you mess something up, it's on you. There's no one there to remind you of it, which is a whole freedom in itself. 11. You can focus on self-development. Another perk of being single is being able to focus on your self-development. I spoke about prioritizing your needs earlier, and this goes hand in hand. I will add, since being in a relationship I've spent a lot of time on my personal development, but it's certainly gone slower than if I'd been single. That's because relationships are turbulent. You spend ages trying to work through an insecurity only for your partner to bring something up and bam, you're back to square one. So yes, we're jealous of the time you're able to spend on things like this, and we're also jealous that you get to focus on yourself so much, without interruptions. 12. More time to pursue your hobbies. But self-development isn't the only area that you have more time for if you're single. You can also deep dive into your hobbies. There's no need to find a quiet moment, or take advantage of the time your partner is out of the house to do what brings you happiness. And even more so, there's no one interrupting your flow when you're lost in an activity, all because they want to know why the TV remote control isn't working. But what if one of your hobbies is X-rated? Believe it or not, that's another perk of being single. This is something you single people don't have to worry about. But when you're in a monogamous relationship, you're only left with daydreaming and the occasional dream of cheating. 14. No pressure to make big plans or commit. And finally, another perk of being single that I think most people in relationships are jealous of is not having to commit to something big. Because let's be real, in every relationship, at some point, comes the talk. The conversation where you suss out whether you're going to marry this person and have babies or not. Single people don't need to worry about this. They don't need to make a decision so big, so heavy with the weight of expectations. And they don't need to go through the pain of disappointing someone they care about if they're not able to fulfill their commitment. So, if you're single, enjoy it. There's a lot to celebrate, and a lot of fun to be had. And if you're in a relationship, look, the grass is always greener on the other side. Or at least that's what we have to tell ourselves.